This week, there's a lot of contradictions at play. Wait, I thought you said this was going to help me get organized. Why do I feel so unmotivated? Didn't you say I was going to be excited about new ideas and new possibilities? Well, I'm not really feeling the excitement. I'm actually feeling kind of down and depressive. This week, there's a lot going on, and everything just collides. But if you're open to it, everything can also mix really well together. Let's find out how. Hey, Astro Babes, this is Ashley of More Than Your Sun Astrology, and welcome to As Above, So Below, your weekly horoscope for September 2nd through September 8th. If you're excited about syncing your life with the stars, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and I'll show you how. So we kick the week off with a new moon in Virgo, which can be really good for getting organized, getting our thoughts together, and just planning out how we can get our shit together. Remember that new moons are essentially a fresh start, and Virgo can speak to our patterns and our habits. So what patterns and habits do you need to recondition yourself to do differently? Now here comes the first contradiction. While you're thinking about getting your shit together and reorganizing your life, you might not feel like actually doing anything, because on the same day as the new moon, Mars will square Neptune. Mars is the action and the drive to do, but Neptune dissolves and weakens. So instead of being revved up and ready to go, we're tired. We're not having a lot of energy, we're lacking motivation, and this is why the beginning of the week is really just geared towards chilling out and resting. Think about what updates can be implemented, but don't get down on yourself if you can't just physically get it together. Or if you feel confused about which direction to go in and how to sort it all out. Sometimes the best thing we can do for ourselves is to stop and do nothing, recharge our batteries. Sometimes we need that outside influence to come in and say, you know what? It's okay not to do anything today. Sometimes it's okay to just be. Moving on to the day after the new moon, still at the beginning of the week, Venus will oppose the North Node. Now, if Venus is directly opposite the North Node, that means she's right on top of the South Node. That's what I want to talk about. The South Node wants us to let something go, and it's not something that's easy to let go of. It's very difficult because it feels so comfortable and familiar to you. You have a deep inner connection to it, but there's something that's not good about it for you. And if nothing's coming to mind yet about what it could be, I'll give you a hint. Because Venus is the planet in the mix with the nodes, this could only mean a couple of things. It's something financial, or something or someone that can potentially affect your finances, or it's Venus's number one topic, relationships. And of course, there's a bunch of different types of relationships, not just the romantic kind. Now, it can be something that has to do with a romantic partnership, but business partners are in a relationship. A friendship is a relationship. We even have a relationship with ourselves, our kids, our pets. So think about the themes in your life at this point in time, and is there anything that needs reassessing? Now, the good news is that while the South Node is about loss and urging you to let go of something, the North Node is about gains. The North Node is about growth. So yeah, right now you're being asked to let go of something that's difficult for you to leave behind, but ultimately you're being asked to do this in order to bring in something new that's more in alignment with your highest good. So whatever situation that came to your attention that you know is stagnating your growth in some kind of way, whenever you decide to let it go, yes, it's gonna hurt, loss hurts, but if you can shed it, if you can get rid of it and let it go, you'll find that it's actually going to propel you forward. And you'll probably look back and say, oh my gosh, like, why didn't I do this sooner? Moving on towards the end of the week, this is where the real fun starts. So there's two things happening that you need to be aware of. On Friday, Mercury will square Uranus, and there's going to be tension. Then on Saturday, the sun will oppose Saturn. Saturday, on Saturn's day. And the sun opposing Saturn just causes conflict because the sun wants to shine light, and Saturn restricts and represses. So both of these transits individually kind of suck. Like, I shouldn't say that, but neither one of them is the easiest energies to deal with. So, but having them all merge their energies together, now that's something we can work with. So let's talk about each individual transit first, and then we'll see how we can put them together. So Mercury square Uranus on Friday. This can cause a disruption in your routines. The things you do on a day-to-day basis, taking the kids to school, picking them up, getting to work on time, going to the gym, stuff like that. Things we typically do every day that we don't even really think about. You know, this energy is honestly very similar to Mercury retrograde energy, where plans can just fall apart or become delayed. You know, like you think you're running ahead of schedule and then all of a sudden you hit traffic. People can seem more distracted and less focused. You can also find out some new information some kind of way that's surprising or shocking in some sort of way. And misunderstandings can create arguments. And you're going to be ready to argue because Uranus is like this electric charge inside of you, and it feels like you're just overwhelmed with stuff. You have so many things to do, there's so much on your mind, and it can just feel very stressful and cause anxiety. That feeling of overwhelm is uncomfortable. And Mercury is words and communication, so if something or someone sets you off, and it won't take much this weekend, you can really just let loose with your words and fire off with whatever it is that you want to say. I think of this picture of the mom with the young family who's always giving, always doing, and she has a husband, bunch of little kids, and her family they don't really acknowledge or see everything she does. She never complains, but then one day, she finally has this moment where she's just done. She's tired of no one listening. She's tired of no one cleaning up after themselves. She's tired of everyone taking her for granted. And then one day, she loses her shit. That's Mercury square Uranus. No one's seen it coming, and then there was a blow up. So it's very important that you're mindful of what you're doing, what you're saying, of your surroundings, and that you move with intent and not with impulsive reactions. Now, what's good about Mercury square Uranus is that an openness to change could lead to a breakthrough moment. So in the example I just gave with the mom who had a blow up, and of course this is just a random example, although I've been this mom many a times, one would hope that in a scenario such as this, the outcome is the mom was no longer ignored. Her explosion was her breakthrough moment. Now all of a sudden her family sees her and acknowledges her, and everyone from all sides was able to see the situation they were in from a new perspective, and it sparked change. This can be a positive side to Mercury squaring Uranus, the breakthrough moment after the storm. But hopefully you don't have a storm. Maybe you just have a breakthrough moment, this aha realization of what needs to change or how you can somehow move differently. The opportunity to do things differently is gonna really come in handy because the next day, the sun will oppose Saturn. And the energy that Sun-Saturn brings is very different. Although the last transit with Uranus brought chaos and uncertainty, there was still an opportunity to change and have a breakthrough. When Saturn enters the picture, he crashes the party and brings all that to a halt. Saturn is the authority. If you had a house party and somebody called the cops, you would be the sun and Saturn would be the cops, shutting you down. That is the energy of Sun opposite Saturn. We feel stuck, we can feel blocked, we feel like there's pressure being placed on us. Saturn can make you feel like you don't have anyone you can lean on. He can make you feel isolated and alone. And when you feel these ways, instead of being optimistic and looking for the silver lining, Saturn's influence can be pessimism, glass half empty approach. So it's very important that if you find yourself feeling any of these ways this weekend, that you don't hold this energy in to yourself. Now, I know you have someone, whether you don't want to bother them or you don't want to burden them. I know there's someone, I know there's at least one person who's supportive in your life who you can get a hug from, because that's really what you need. You want to push people away right now, but what you need is to embrace that connection and find that connection. And if you truly just can't think of anyone, it really does help to journal. Just get your thoughts out of your mind, out of your body, spit them out somewhere else. You don't need all that negativity building up inside of you. Now, the reason why the two energies I just spoke about, Mercury square Uranus and Sun opposite Saturn, are good together is because Saturn levels Uranus out in a way. So while Uranus has your mind scattered all over the place with 100 things to focus on, Saturn says, pick one. Seriously, pick one thing and start there. Saturn reminds us that Rome wasn't built in a day. Just pick one thing and focus on that. And then when that's done, pick something else. Now on the flip side, the energy of Uranus can help you change those Saturnian thoughts, that pessimistic attitude. The nobody likes me, everybody hates me, guess I'll go eat worms. Now, I'm not downplaying or trying to be insensitive to anyone's situation, and I'm not saying that people don't actually go through tough stuff. There's some of us that were dealt some really very crappy, terrible cards. And I'm not downplaying any of those types of situations at all. But what I'm saying is that if you're listening to this video, you clearly believe in energy and a higher purpose, a higher being, a higher power. And astrology shows us we don't have to live with the cards we were dealt. We can change our hand. If you've been repeating your past over and over again, you have the ability and you have the opportunity to start a new cycle. If you are here right now in present time, you have the ability to change your future. And it all starts with your mindset and your perspective and your outlook on situations. So this weekend, Uranus comes in and says, if there's something that you don't like, you can change it. We can look at our patterns, at our habits, at our past cycles that we continuously repeat and finally have the breakthrough moment to decide to change. So what do you want to change? Well, that's it for this week. I hope this was insightful. If you're still with me, please hit that subscribe button right now so that you never miss out on what you need to know to stay aligned and in flow. Always remember you can book a personal reading on my website and grab a free copy of my ebook, Everyday Guide to Parenting Children by Their Moon Signs, on my website, mtysastrology.com. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.